Hello everyone, today we are going to go over the Jax matchup. Since there are many ways in which this matchup can be played, I might make more videos on the matchup in the future. Jax is definitely one of the worst matchups for Yone, and there is no perfect counter to it like you have with the Renekton matchup. What makes the Yone matchup so difficult is the fact that he outscales you before 3 items, so unless you have a huge advantage, it can still be difficult. If you're at an even stage with him, he will always win the all-in against you since his ult makes him take no damage, while his W with 1 item chunks like 30% of your HP. Not to mention, his E counters Yone really bad and he is pretty agile with Q. With that being said, this does not mean the matchup is a must ban, but just requires a lot of practice and experience. Now, let's get into the game and I'll explain how we can deal with the stat monster. Thanks for watching, make sure to like and subscribe. Love you all. For runes, I'm taking Shield Bash and Bone Plating with Exhaust. I've tried taking Ignite, but I've realized that unless you get a huge lead, you aren't making a comeback in lane if you die once, although I was taking TP in my prime. Bone Plating is pretty self-explanatory and Shield Bash is just a personal favorite. Level 1, we take the push because there is a chance that they try to zone you level 1 with E, sort of like how Darius or Urgot would. We can counter it by using Q on him at max range. If he approaches, we simply leave, and they will usually give up since they use their E. If he doesn't use E though, you can try to Q him again to all-in him. Level 1, the most common way of playing is by giving him prio and then trying to freeze the wave, making it easier to trade, but if you watch the Irelia video, you would know that I just don't really like giving priority. You might ask you how I'm going to deal with level 2 when he can just EQ me, and the solution is almost identical to the Irelia matchup. Pushing enough that he can't go in, but slow enough that we can hit level 3 before him. Now, there is also the question of how I'm going to get prio against E, but it's actually quite simple. Start by getting Q3. Then, you are going to walk up to auto Jax. There are 2 ways this can play out. He either uses E or he waits for you to auto and then E. If he lets you auto, he will auto back and E to prevent taking Q3 damage. If he presses E immediately, we can drag back and Q3 him right before we get stunned, allowing us to cancel out the CC a little bit while still doing damage. Dragging into the bush, we get an extra auto. I gave exhaust late because I'm still trying to get good at using it, but if I used it earlier, it would have been a free kill. So why were we able to win? Well, level 1 Jax needs to stack E damage along with passive to be strong, but since he never autos us, his E would not stack and we never gave him the chance to get a lot of passive stacks going. We have to be careful at jungle though, because if you die playing like this, it's pretty cooked. With a huge HP advantage, Jax is too scared to walk up, allowing us to deny lots of minions. Eventually, we both base and we come back with 3 daggers, putting us at a really comfortable spot. I make a mistake of letting him get E range without using Q, so we kinda just let it happen, and he won't fight us in that huge wave anyways. Baiting out his E, we are free to poke him, leaving him on 1 HP at turret. Using E to get a turret play, we can also try to set up a kill by forcing his E out. While we can't kill him, he is dead if he stays. Well, honestly, not much to be done there unless I auto flash, if that would have even worked. Coming back with pickaxe, it's worth noting that his ult CD is super low, so we have to be careful. When dealing with Jax Q, he either EQ or QE. If he uses QE, then it's better to E after he uses E, but if he uses E and then Q, we should E during his dash to avoid getting hit. We can also bait him to go in when we have a stack of Q or Q3 so we can chase him down better after dodging him like here. Normally, this wouldn't be the easiest fight, but since neither of us have ult and it's also early game, he would never win through my exhaust. In another fight, this would have been a decent one, but since Poppy was here, we simply let it be. It's also worth noting that if you're too close to Jax, he might just ult and trade autos, only using E and Q after you do so. Unfortunately, I'm ganked by Udyr. I think there was a chance for outplay if I didn't use Q at him, but at the same time, I thought he used R as well for whatever reason. Coming back, what I said was sort of exemplified, and I think we had a chance to win there, but since Udyr comes again, I was sure I was dead. At the very least though, we got Bork, and when Jax uses his abilities so carelessly, we have no reason not to all in him. To be honest, I had a feeling I shouldn't have fought here since I didn't have exhaust, but I always overestimate myself, especially when I have way better items, but Jax will bullshit his way through anything. I guess I also shouldn't have greeted an auto since his bonus movement speed went over my head. When I respawned, Udyr flashed onto Graves, so we ult in to save him. Kiana then trades off the Graves, so we finished her off as well. Seeing a skirmish at mid, I go there to hover. Before I could leave, a team fight happens. We couldn't do more with ult since there was too many people. I reset and split top, but honestly, I was just overextended. Then comes Drake. I get to have another fair 1v1 against Jax. I was going to all in, but since he leaves, I have no reason to fight him in his ult. While I did ult a tiny bit early, he probably didn't realize I have shield bow going for me. During that fight, my team also won a fight to secure Baron. Udyr also got real cocky after all those 1v2s and thought he could actually 1v1 me. I push bot to give side lane pressure while my team sieges mid, and eventually we push as 5, ending the game. As you saw, it wasn't the smoothest game and we did make a few mistakes, but establishing a lead is definitely possible. Thanks for watching, make sure to like and subscribe. Bye bye.